The person who wins a negotiation is decided before anyone says a word. Most people think it's about having the sharpest tactics or the most confidence. It's about something much harder to fake. Both sides of any negotiation are playing two games at once, the one on the table and the one in their head. The real leverage is found in the second game. Where do you stand? By the end of this, you might realize you've been playing the wrong game all along. The conventional wisdom on negotiation is a checklist for projecting power. Have a BATNA, a best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Know your walkaway point. Use silence to your advantage, letting the other person rush to fill it. Frame your proposals in terms of what they stand to lose, because loss aversion is a powerful motivator. Anchor the conversation with the first offer, setting the boundaries for the entire discussion. These are the tools of the trade taught in business schools and weekend seminars. They are logical, they are proven, and they work up to a point. That sounds convincing, a perfect recipe for control. But there's a problem. People can feel when you're running a script. They can't name it, but they sense it. A slight hesitation before you answer, a held breath, your posture shifts, your voice tightens by a fraction of a tone. These are tells. They are the micro-expressions of need leaking out from behind your tactical wall. You are performing the role of someone who doesn't need the deal, but your nervous system is telling the truth. Why? Because you can script your words, but you can't script your biology. True power in a negotiation is an internal state, a physiological reality. It's the calm that comes from genuine detachment, a state that is nearly impossible to counterfeit when the stakes are real. So the answer is just to stop caring. That's like telling someone in a burning building to relax. It's absurd advice when your rent, your career, or your company's survival is on the line. For most people, in most high-stakes situations, detachment feels like a luxury they can't afford. What happens when you genuinely have no good alternative? When this is the one job offer after 6 months of searching? When this is the only potential buyer for the business you've poured your life into? In these moments, the gap between the person you are and the person you're pretending to be becomes a canyon, and the person across the table can feel the echo. And yet, the other side has its own blind spot. The assumption that your alternatives dictate your power is where the game can be changed. The most common solution offered is brutally simple. Create real options. Before you negotiate a salary, have 2 other job offers pending. Before you make an offer on a house, have 3 other properties you'd be happy to own. When negotiating with a supplier, have 2 others already vetted and ready to go. This approach transforms your BATNA from a theoretical concept into a tangible reality. Your willingness to walk away becomes authentic. You are no longer acting. The parachute is real, packed, and ready. This is the gold standard of preparation. It's how you walk into a room with the quiet confidence of someone who is there to explore a possibility, not to secure a necessity. This is solid advice. But it's a strategy born of abundance. Life often presents us with situations of scarcity. Sometimes there really is only one dream job. There is only one investor who sees the vision for your company. There is only one house in the right school district for your kids. In these moments, does the person with fewer options just automatically lose? Are they doomed to accept whatever terms are offered? This is where the debate moves from the external world of options to the internal world of definition. The next level of power is to redefine what a win actually means. Imagine you're negotiating that salary. A win could be getting the number you want. Or, a win could be calmly and clearly articulating your value, stating your required number, and holding that line with composure, regardless of the outcome. In this second frame, walking away from a low offer is a success. It's a victory for your own self-worth. You have successfully enforced your own standard. The outcome is binary. Either they meet your standard, or you walk. Both are wins. This psychological reframing is profound. It shifts your goal from securing a specific outcome to upholding a specific process. Failure is no longer possible. There is only a good deal or a dignified exit. You are no longer seeking their validation. You are demonstrating your own. That's a powerful mental shift. It can feel liberating, but we have to be honest. It can also be a beautifully constructed coping mechanism for losing. Is it truly a win to walk away with nothing when you desperately needed something? Maybe. Or maybe you've just found an honorable way to fail. So, is there a way to shift the actual power in the room, to change the fundamental dynamics, even when you have no other options? And walking away would genuinely hurt. Yes, you stop focusing on what you need from them, and you start focusing exclusively on what they will lose if you walk away. Your power isn't in your alternatives, it's in their pain. Stop thinking about your rent, your deadline, your runway. Start thinking about their problem. What specific, expensive, and urgent problem do you solve for them? How much will it cost them in time, money, and stress to find someone else who can solve it as well as you can? Make them articulate it. Walk me through what happens in the next 3 months if this position remains unfilled. What projects get delayed if you can't secure this component? Help me understand the cost of finding and training another candidate to the level of expertise we've discussed. Your leverage lives inside their problem. When you become obsessed with their world instead of your own, your questions change, your focus shifts, and your perceived power grows because you are no longer a supplicant asking for something. You are a specialist diagnosing their need. This is a brilliant pivot. It reframes the entire encounter, but it relies on one key assumption, that their pain is significant and that you are the unique solution. What happens when you aren't? What if they have a dozen other candidates who are 95% as good as you? What if their problem is a headache, but not a migraine? What if you are a vitamin, not an aspirin? In a commoditized world, being the solution to someone's generic problem provides very little leverage. This is where the ultimate form of power is built, far in advance of any negotiation. You have to become the linchpin. You have to manufacture your own scarcity. This requires deep, almost obsessive work. It means doing research that other candidates won't do. You don't just understand their company, you understand their industry, their competitors, and the one existential threat they aren't paying enough attention to. You don't just have the skills for the job, you have a unique combination of experiences that allows you to solve a problem they haven't even fully defined yet. You might be the only candidate who has worked in both enterprise software and overseas logistics, making you the one person who can fix their broken international supply chain software. You become the purple squirrel. You are no longer one of many options. You are a category of one. Your leverage is no longer about the other job offers you have. Your leverage is the chasm between the value you provide and the value provided by the next best alternative. You create the leverage by creating that gap. This reveals the core tension of the entire debate. Is the ability to walk away a strategy you deploy? Or is it a reality you have built? The answer is both, but the sequence matters. The performance of detachment is weak and fragile. The reality of detachment is bedrock. That reality is constructed piece by piece long before you ever walk into the room. It's built by cultivating other options. It's reinforced by redefining a win as upholding your own value. And it's solidified by doing the work to become so uniquely valuable that the other side's best alternative is a significant downgrade. The negotiation itself is just the final act. It's the presentation of a conclusion that was already reached weeks or months ago. The calm you project isn't a tactic. It's the natural emotional state of someone who did the work. You don't need to fake not needing the deal. You've engineered a situation where, on some fundamental level, you actually don't. Think of a founder of a small, struggling startup negotiating a partnership with a global corporation. The corporation has all the time and all the money in the world. The founder is 90 days from missing payroll. On the surface, the power imbalance is absolute. The founder is a mouse negotiating with an elephant. But the founder can change the geometry of the room. They get a competing term sheet from a smaller firm, even a less attractive one. That's a real alternative. They secure a small bridge loan from an angel investor, pushing the payroll crisis back by 6 months. That reduces the immediate need. And, most importantly, they discover through back-channel research that their small company's obscure patent is the only legal way for the giant corporation to enter a new $200 billion market in Europe. Suddenly, who needs whom? The negotiation is no longer about the startup's survival. It's about the corporation's expansion. The power has completely flipped. The founder didn't learn a new closing technique. They changed the facts on the ground. So where does that leave you? We're taught to see negotiation as a performance, a duel of wits and will in a closed room. But the evidence suggests it's more like a harvest. The quality of the outcome is determined by the seeds you planted long before. The person who needs the deal less is the person who has more information, more time, and more real alternatives. The work isn't learning to fake a poker face. The work is building a hand so strong you don't need one. So, here's the real question. When you feel that familiar tight knot in your stomach during a high-stakes conversation, is that a signal to double down on your tactics and project more confidence? Or is it a diagnostic tool, telling you that the real work was supposed to happen a month ago, and you are now simply playing out a losing hand you were dealt by your own lack of preparation?